Yes, Sandeep, we are on. We can start.
Yeah. Good day, friends. Charter President of Rotary Club of Thane Titans, District 3142. First of all, I welcome today's guest speaker, RIPN Stephanie Urchick from Rotary Club of District number
7305.
3105, who will be speaking on the topic of internationality of Rotary. Sorry. Now, I would like to welcome co-host clubs from our district 3142 for the meeting today. So I welcome Club President Sandeep Khurana of Rotary Club of Navi Mumbai Samaritans and its members. I welcome Club President Amit Vittal Hanamgar of Rotary Club of Navi Mumbai Palm Beach and its members. I welcome Club President Shankar Bhagat of Rotary Club of Thane Ghodbunder Road and its members. I welcome Club President Jinesh Shah of Rotary Club of Thane East and its members. I welcome Rotary Club President Santosh Shinde of Rotary Club of Thane Green City and its members. I welcome Club President Deepa Iyer of Rotary Club of Linktown, Airoli and its members. I welcome Club President Vijay Joshi of Rotary Club of Thane Green Garden City and its members. I welcome Club President Dr. Sushma Tomar of Rotary Club of Ulhasnagar and its members. I welcome Club President Reet Kumar of Rotary Club of Thane Imperials and its members. And I also welcome all the Rotarians, dignitaries and their families and guests attending today's meeting. And now I request President Amit Hanamgar of Rotary Club of Navi Mumbai Palm Beach to read four-way test.
सभी को मेरा प्यार भरा नमस्कार. Hello everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Dhotre sir. Please repeat after me. The four-way test. Of the things we think, say or do.
Of the
Is it
things
the
we-
The
truth?
things we think, say or do.
Is it the truth?
Is it fair to
The
all
truth.
concerned?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Is it fair to all
Will it build
concerned?
goodwill and better friendships?
Will it
Will
build
it build
goodwill and
goodwill
better
and better
friendships?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Will it be
Will it be
beneficial to
beneficial
all
to all
concerned?
concerned?
Thank you. Over to you, Dhotre sir. Thank you.
Thank you, President Amit. Now I request President Shankar Bhagat of Rotary Club of Ghodbunder Road, Thane Ghodbunder Road, to read the objects of Rotary. Shankar.
Shankarji, you can unmute and read. Yeah, Shankarji, you can please.
Shankar is there?
Yeah, Shankar is there. I don't know why. It is. I got it on the screen. Is it visible, Sandeep?
Yeah, it was visible. Yeah.
Yeah. Shankarji, you can please continue.
Shall I read it otherwise?
Yeah.
Hello.
No, Shankarji, you are unmuted now.
Hello.
Unmute.
Hello.
Yeah, Shankar. Yeah, Shankar. Go
Thank
ahead.
you, sir. The object of Rotary is to encourage and foster the ideal of service as a basis of worthy enterprise, and in particular to encourage and foster, first, the development of acquaintance as an opportunity for service. Second, high ethical standard in business and professions. The recognition of the worthiness of all useful occupations and the dignifying of each Rotarian's occupation as an opportunity to serve society. Third, the application of the ideal of service in each Rotarian's personal, business, and community life. Fourth, the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace through a world fellowship of business and professional persons united in ideal of service. Thank you.
Thank you, President Shankar. Now I request President Deepa Iyer of Linktown Airoli, Rotary Club of Linktown Airoli, to introduce today's guest speaker, Rotary International President nominee, Stephanie Urchick.
Thank you, Sandeep.
Yeah.
So we are very, very excited to introduce today's the chief guest for the evening's at India evening, morning for you all, Stephanie A. Urchick. Stephanie is President nominee, Rotary Club of McRae, Pennsylvania. Stephanie Urchick retired as partner and chief operating officer of Doctors at Work LLC, a consulting and training company, in 2022. She holds a doctorate in leadership studies from Indiana University of Pennsylvania. She is active on numerous community boards and committees and has been honored by organizations including Zonta International and the Sons of the American Revolution. A Rotarian since 1991, Urchick first joined the home club of past RI President Chuck Keller, who served as her mentor. Urchick has served Rotary as Rotary Foundation trustee and RI director. She has served RI in numerous capacities, including training leader, regional Rotary Foundation coordinator, and RI president's representative. In addition, she was a delegate and member at large for 3 councils on legislation. She has also served as a member of various RI committees, including Rotary's Election Review Committee, the Operations Review Committee, and as a chair of the Rotary Strategic Planning Committee and the Rotary Foundation Centennial Celebration Committee. Urchick has participated in a variety of international service projects, including National Immunization Days in India and Nigeria. In Vietnam, she worked with clubs to help build a primary school and traveled to the Dominican Republic to install water filters. The speaker of several Slavic languages. Wow. She has mentored new Rotary members in Ukraine and coordinated a Rotary Foundation grant project for mammography equipment and a biopsy unit for hospital in Poland. Urchick is currently helping to partner clubs and districts in the US with Rotary clubs in Kosovo, Albania, and in Ukraine for humanitarian and educational services. Urchick wants to see 1 lakh more Rotary members in 24-25. She believes that the magic of Rotary happens at the club level, where the people are serving their communities. We need to make our club experiences simply irresistible, she says. We want people to feel that there's value in getting involved in Rotary to create changes in themselves, in their communities, and in the world. She is a major donor and a member of the Bequest Society of the Rotary Foundation. Thank you. Warm welcome to you, Stephanie Urchick. Thank you, Shankar.
Thank you so very much for that kind introduction. And family of Rotary, I'm so excited to be with you. It is always such a pleasure to get in front of my family of Rotary and to share some thoughts and ideas with you. This evening, I'm going to share a little bit of information about my thinking on the internationality of Rotary, but then I'm going to open it up for questions because I don't want anybody to leave this opportunity without having some opportunity to have questions answered. My thanks to whoever is navigating the slides for me this evening. I'm using technology that doesn't have PowerPoint, so it's very difficult for me to share. So thank you in advance. I will simply say next slide and we can move on. But let me make a comment first about internationality of Rotary in general. You know, sometimes I have to remind people to take a look at their Rotary pin. The Rotary pin says Rotary National. It does not say Rotary North America or Rotary India or Rotary Africa. It says Rotary International. So it should be a reminder each and every time we affix a pin to our lapel or wear it as a necklace or however we have the master brand, that we are an international organization. And just take a look at this meeting this evening. You know, we have plenty of representatives from India, but we also have, I'm noticing people from England and people from Nepal and people from the United States. So technology has also given us an opportunity to further the internationality of Rotary because it makes us accessible. It helps for us to make the connections that we can have across borders and across oceans. So it's another interesting tool that we have to help us create that internationality. But tonight I also want to focus on the structure of Rotary and the programs of Rotary and the opportunities that we have as Rotarians to help us with the internationality. You'll see the very first slide has a picture of some Rotarians from the United States as well as some Rotarians from the Philippines who are engaged in a meeting. And that's what it's all about. It's about us sharing opportunities with each other so that we get to know one another and we get to understand how Rotary is done in different places. Let's go to our next slide. Our next slide is a slide that talks about the options beyond our club. So if we look at our club, you would be surprised and maybe a little bit dismayed like I am when I ask club members, have you ever been to another club meeting in any place in your district or elsewhere? And there are far too many who say no, they haven't been outside of the club. Well, if people spend their entire Rotary journey inside the club, that's all they know. They know what's inside the club. When in reality, there are opportunities for service as well as education beyond our club. You know, going to another club gives you an opportunity to see how things are done in another club. And it may be an opportunity for you to see how something is done that you may be able to take back to your club. And then there are opportunities for meetings in our regions, in our districts. Sometimes there are membership seminars or international service seminars. Then, of course, we have things beyond the district level in our zones for those who are stepping up to leadership, or if you are an emerging leader, many zones have opportunities for that. And of course, the one meeting annually that is open to everybody happens to be our international convention. And I think that is an opportunity that every Rotarian ought to experience because it gives people in a 4-day format is such a high opportunity to interact with Rotarians from around the world. So let's look now at some program options that help us with internationality. Let's go to the next slide. Certainly one of the prime examples of a program that helps us with internationality happens to be our grant projects and our service projects. So international service can happen in two ways. It can happen through using the Rotary Foundation. And as you know, the Rotary Foundation has global grants, which are the bigger grants with $30,000 or more funding. And they do require an international as well as a host sponsor. So it is an opportunity for two areas of the world to partner to create lasting change. But additionally, the Rotary Foundation supports us with district grants. And district grants are smaller, and most often they tend to be used for community projects, but not always. You can also use district grants to further support the things you're doing internationally. In addition to using the foundation, there are clubs that from time to time in districts that will simply do an international service project that does not rely on grant funding, but does look at where is there an opportunity to make the world a better place, someplace outside of my own club or someplace outside of my own district. And I note that in India, very, very many of the districts have international service chairs, which is admirable. And I hope that in your clubs, you also designate someone who takes on that role to help Rotarians understand that our world starts in our backyard. So helping our communities is extremely important, but it doesn't end there, so that there are always going to be opportunities for us to look beyond our community. Let's go to the next slide. I want to talk for a moment about Rotary Action Groups. So what are these? Well, Rotary Action Groups are groups of people who are generally non-Rotarians, but they are people who believe in the quality and service opportunities that we provide through Rotary. So they work with Rotarians in special fields, and you can see some of them listed there. So they are experts. And one of the charges that Rotary Action Groups have is that they're meant to be a resource for any club or district who is interested in pursuing a global grant. So if you're looking for opportunities to do global grants, the action groups are generally, they're listed by area of focus. So we have a total of about 27 Rotary Action Groups. We have 4 that are listed for promoting peace. We have a dozen or more that are about fighting disease. And then we have some listed for clean water and sanitation. So in all areas of focus, we have Rotary Action Groups that are listed. So you are able to connect with these people who are from all over the world, experts from all over the world, who can help you as you move forward looking at opportunities for your grants. Let's go to the next slide. The next slide talks about Rotary Fellowships. Rotary Fellowships are generally groups of interested Rotarians who connect across borders, and they share common interest in activities that are recreational or hobbies or sports. You can see the list there. We have somewhere around 70 fellowships right now. And again, it's another opportunity for you as a Rotary member to connect with people from around the Rotary world who share your same interest. So if you're interested in music or photography or cricket or stamp collecting or rowing or dozens of other opportunities, when you visit the Rotary website, you can find information on Rotary Fellowships with also their particular websites listed, so you can click on a Rotary Fellowship website to learn more. A great opportunity to connect with other Rotarians. So let's go to the next slide. The next slide talks about Rotary Community Corps. And what are these? Well, these are non-Rotarians who carry out service projects in communities in collaboration with a local Rotary Club. We have more than 12,000 Rotary Community Corps in 105 countries and in 257 districts. They exist everywhere Rotary does. They're in urban as well as rural areas. They're in developing countries as well as developed countries. The picture you see there is actually of a Rotary Community Corps that exists in Minneapolis, Minnesota in the United States. And that Rotary Community Corps has a focus on helping the local Afghan refugees who have moved to that particular area of the United States. So Rotary Community Corps provides us again another opportunity for international service and international connections. Let's go to the next slide. One of our premier programs in Rotary that talks about internationality is our Rotary Youth Exchange student program. This is a program where we are promoting peace one student at a time, because students have an opportunity to visit another culture, they learn another language, they learn about a country, and they truly become global citizens. And this program has been going on for as long as I can remember. So any students between the ages of 15 and 19 can be sponsored by Rotary Club. I am in my 3rd Rotary Club, and every Rotary Club I've been in has had a Rotary Youth Exchange student, either as an outbound student or an inbound student. So again, one of our premier programs. If we go to the next slide, I just wanted to talk a minute about zone coordinators. Zone coordinators through the Rotary world really become resources for us on RI, as well as on specific topics within Rotary. So in the coordinator teams, we have people who focus on membership. We have people who focus on public image. We have people who are focusing on ending polio now, as well as who are developing support for the Rotary Foundation. So these people, these coordinators, are also people to whom we can reach out to if we are seeking to make connections with certain zones in the world. Rotary has 34 zones that are paired. So a paired zone may be an area that we want to reach out. So a Rotary coordinator can be an excellent person, a resource to help us get more information about connecting within that area. Our next slide talks about one of my favorite programs, and that's the Rotary Peace Fellows. As you know, we have Rotary Peace Centers around the world. We are going to be opening our newest Peace Center in the spring of 2025, located in Istanbul, Turkey. Every year, Peace Fellows graduate from these programs and take the knowledge and education that they've learned back into their professions. So we have Peace Fellows who are working in governmental organizations. We have some working in education. We have some working in police departments. We have alumni all over. There are more than 1,600 of them now working all over the world, again, to promote peace, goodwill, understanding, and the message of Rotary. Our Peace Centers allow students who are matriculated to either pursue a master's degree or a professional development certificate program, which is a one-year program. Peace Fellows are, again, an excellent opportunity to bring internationality into your club or district. They are often sought out as speakers for district conferences or for zone meetings, and they bring a wealth of information because of the studies that they've completed, as well as the fact that they have become ambassadors for their areas of the world. So let's go to the next slide. I mentioned briefly that we have something called Zone Institutes, and you're very familiar with them. I had the opportunity to be at a really excellent Zone Institute in Visakhapatnam in the end of last year. Just an exciting opportunity to meet more Rotary leaders and Rotarians from that particular area of the world. So at most Zone Institutes, whether you go as a incoming or past leader, or as I mentioned before, as an emerging leader, you have an opportunity to hear these special reports about our Rotary Foundation, about where we are in the fight to eradicate polio, about where we stand in terms of an organization and our financial forecast. Usually most institutes have a forum where Rotarians who are in attendance can ask directors questions, and they always have inspiring and motivational speakers, but more importantly, it is again a chance to network and reconnect with people you may have met previously, or certainly to make new friends. Let's go to our next slide. Every 3 years, Rotary has a special meeting called a Council on Legislation. This meeting is held in Chicago in the United States, and it is the meeting that allows us to change our constitutional documents. Each council requires that every district selects or elects a council representative. And the term for that person is 3 years, because initially they work within their district to solicit ideas for enactments and resolutions that will come before the council. The Council on Resolutions is the part of the council that is done online. And then the Council on Legislation in Chicago handles all of the enactments. So 529 delegates, one from every district in the world, gather in Chicago every 3 years to take a look at our code of policy, our manuals, our constitutional documents, and suggest how we can make them stronger or changes that need to be made for our organization to keep up with a modern society. Our next Council on Legislation will be held in April of 2025. So let's go to the next slide. Another way that we can promote internationality and allow all members of Rotary to share that is to look at Rotary committees. Each year in the Rotary magazine, there is an opportunity for Rotarians from any part of the world to self-select, to self-nominate and say, I would like to be considered as a member of the whatever committee happens to have that opening. It might be membership, it might be strategic planning, it might be finance, but it allows people to put their names forward, and then there is a vetting process. But the committees of Rotary are international, meaning that the geographic representation of Rotary is taken into consideration when committees are formed, so that we are looking at multiple parts of the Rotary world, and we are not being country-centric in any specific way. So Rotary committees, another international opportunity. Our next slide talks about the Rotary President's Representative Program, which I mentioned earlier. Each year, the president has an opportunity to appoint people who will serve in this role to represent him or her at the various district conferences happening around the world. District governors have an opportunity to request a president's rep, or they may request not to have one. That is entirely up to the district. But generally, the people who are selected are people who are well-versed in Rotary knowledge and who are motivational speakers and who can help the district governor celebrate a terrific Rotary year, as well as point out the presidential priorities and the direction that those things are happening. It is another way for Rotarians to share the internationality of Rotary, because generally a president's rep is coming from another area of the Rotary world. Our next slide talks about our International Assembly. So those of you on the call, I know I've seen at least one, there's probably more, who are currently district governor nominees, are going to be headed to the International Assembly in January in Orlando, Florida, in the United States. This is the meeting of Rotary International that helps to prepare our governor-elects as they look at taking office in the following July. The International Assembly program is focused on helping governors understand what's on the front burner for Rotary, as well as providing them with tools that they need to help them get their jobs done. At the International Assembly, it's also a fabulous opportunity for DGEs to connect with one another, to find opportunities for international partnerships, for serving with each other, so that one district can partner with another in terms of grants, or in terms of pure international service, or in terms of vocational exchanges or friendship exchanges. It just represents a splendid opportunity for your DGE to make connections on an international level, and to help your district with the whole concept of being an international partner. Let's go to the next slide. there is one final opportunity that you may be aware of in the United States. There is a parade that is attached to a sporting event. It is the Rose Bowl, which has U.S. collegiate football teams playing American football. And the Rose Bowl is broadcast around the world. And what you're seeing on the screen now is the Rotary float that was in last year's Rose Bowl parade. So this is a public image as well as an international opportunity for the world to see and hear about Rotary International. As the float appears on the screen, the commentators always talk about Rotary International, what it is as a membership organization. It does service around the globe and in our communities and in ourselves. And that's the messaging that goes out to the world. There are also opportunities for you, if you are interested, to become a part of the group that helps to put this float together. Of course, it means you have to get yourself to Pasadena, California in the USA. But in general, that also tends to be a group of committed international Rotarians who spend several days affixing the flowers to this particular float so that it can make its debut on January 1st in the parade. And our next slide, our last slide, is the important slide talking about our international conventions. I already mentioned to you that, we have a lot of Rotary meetings during the year. We have councils on legislation every 3 years. We have international assemblies for incoming leaders. But this particular meeting is a meeting that is open to any and every Rotarian and non-Rotarian, if they should choose, around the world. And as you know, these meetings happen in different places every year. This year's convention will be in Melbourne, Australia. Next year, our convention will be in Singapore. And in 2025, when I am serving as president with you, our convention will be in Calgary, in Canada. So again, it's an excellent opportunity for thousands and thousands of Rotarians to get together and to share the internationality of Rotary. The speakers are international, the exhibits are international, and certainly the people who attend are international. So I hope that if you have not yet experienced a convention, that you seriously think about putting one or more of them for the future on your travel agenda, because it's simply an irresistible way for people to get together and share ideas about how Rotary works in all of our different cultures. And finally, our next slide is the part of any meeting that I like the best. It's when I'm going to open up for any questions you may have. So I don't know how we're handling those, VJ. Are they going to be in chat, or are we simply going to ask people to unmute and ask the question? Whatever works best is okay for me.
We will be asking them to raise their hands and then we can unmute and.
Perfect.
Thank you, RIPN, for, first of all, let me thank you for accepting my request and addressing us.
Of course.
That was a pleasure. And I would request anybody who has questions to please raise your hands. I can see Dr. Sam up first. Yes, Dr. Sam.
Yes, I think I'm unmuted. Stephanie, thank you for being here. Going back to your excellent coverage of global grants, this is something that really is becoming more and more important through Rotary, particularly post-COVID. How do you see in your administration in 2 years' time, and what we're doing over these the next few years, is how is global grants going to become even more important, and also to help with more and more local development projects, but in an international venue? And thank you for being here.
Sure. Well, Sam, the first thing that I think we need to think about is I mentioned it earlier that we are a membership organization that does service. When we have more members, we have more opportunities for service. When we have more members, we have more opportunities for people donating to the Rotary Foundation. The Rotary Foundation is the arm of our organization that lets us do all the magic. So when we have the support of the foundation, we will have more opportunities for the grant making through the Rotary Foundation. So everything starts with membership. I was so grateful that when Shekhar Mehta was president, that he put a spotlight on membership. And during his year, we grew in membership. It wasn't a big number, but it was forward progress. So I'm certainly hopeful that we will continue that. So what we really have to do as Rotary leaders is to help our club members and people in our districts understand the importance of what global grants really do and what district grants really do. They are opportunities for us to connect with other regions. Having an international sponsor and a host sponsor of that grant, it really does allow us to work together to create change for some place in the world. During my intro, you heard that when I was able to work with my district, we put a grant together. Back then it was matching grant, but we put a grant together to help put a mammography unit in Poland, which is thousands of miles from Western Pennsylvania. But we found out that there were women in Poland who did not have early detection. So the survival rate from cancer was not as high as in other countries. And that's certainly something that every Rotarian can wrap his or her hands around, because we all have women in our lives. We have mothers, wives, daughters, aunts. It's just something that made sense. So by putting Rotarians in Western Pennsylvania together with Rotarians in Poland, we were able to help make a difference for Polish women. And we in Western Pennsylvania are never going to meet those women, but we can say that we played a part in helping to change their lives. So Dr. Sam, you're absolutely right. Grants are an important part of what we do. It helps our club members stay engaged. It's one of the priorities of our action plan is enhanced participant engagement. So that means we want to continue to educate people about the importance of looking at global grants, district grants, and of course then pure international service. Thank you for the question.
Anybody else who has a question, you can just raise your hand here. Just a minute. Yes, PDG Lalitji, please.
Okay, thank you so much. Stephanie, let me congratulate you on the wonderful presentation just made. I have 2 points. One, starting with membership, let us all celebrate that as of April, since I'm ARC of Zone 6, the message we got from Brian King, I would like to share with everybody that we have crossed 1,200,000 just in April again. And what you talked about, 2 things, especially they have impressed me, Rotary Action Group and Rotary Fellowship. When we are recruiting new members, they probably not aware about Rotary. We always organize orientation programs and many things. But I particularly feel that if we talk to them about internationality of Rotary, global grants, of course, it's a very good medium. In good old days, group study exchange used to be a hallmark of Rotary internationality. But if we can tell them that there is opportunity through Rotary Fellowship, 96 of them are there, and then 25 Rotary Action Group, it will go a long way in engaging and motivating the new members, and we can retain our members. This is my suggestion. I don't know how you feel about it. Number 2, at times a little back, we used to talk about twin club relationship, sister club relationship. I think that in a small way can also be a way to promote internationality. That's it.
Well, the way I feel is absolutely agree with you. You know, when we invite people to come into the magic of Rotary, sometimes they're aware of what we do, but they couldn't possibly know about all the things we do because we do so much. So really, I applaud you. If you do have orientations for new members, I think that's an excellent idea because we really do need to show them how they can become engaged. You know, when we get our membership surveys, one of the unfortunate things they tell us is that people leave Rotary clubs after about the second year of being in a club. Why is that? Because somehow they have become disengaged. They're not finding the value. They're not keeping the engagement. So when we work at the front end to help find out about who they are, what they're interested in, and share ideas with them, we're going to have a better opportunity to retain them. You know, because historically, Rotary has not had a problem bringing in new members. The problem has been keeping them. We became a revolving door. You know, we look at the statistics for the past 20 years, we bring in 150,000 new members every year, but we lose 160,000 members, and that's not going to sustain us as an international organization. Obviously, you know, different regions of the world are having different results. You in India, since most of our call is in India, are doing very well with membership. And I applaud you, and I want you to continue that. But there are other parts of the Rotary world that need some help. And so, yes, we need to continue the education piece. We need to, you know, get people excited about the opportunities that exist in Rotary to become international and to share our expertise with each other. So thank you for your comments. I think your suggestions are good ones, and I hope that you will continue to do them.
Yeah, we have two more hands. One is Dr. Himanshu Basu. Please continue. Yeah, you are unmuted, please.
Oh, thank you very much indeed, my friends and Rotary International President nominee Stephanie. My question could easily follow your last comments, Stephanie, and that is, how can we leverage our internationality to improve the impact of our global grants? And question relates specifically to the expertise that's available with TRF cadre, with the international contacts through international service chairs, and of course, Rotary Action Group technical officers. So how can we make this better known at the district level, that if we are doing a global grant, that all these expertise is also available? Thank you.
Well, Dr. Basu, everything begins with education, and education begins with us. And so you've already said the answer. It really is about leaders. And you know, all of us on this call are leaders. Some of us have titles and sometimes we don't have titles. You know, I think of my own Rotary journey when I was in my club. You know, I didn't always have a title, but sometimes I looked at a project and I said, yes, I'll be the champion for that. Let me lead that. Or a social event, or, you know, the speakers program, whatever. So we're all leaders in Rotary. So it is incumbent upon us to share information with those who come on board, because they're not going to have it. You know, in my first club, you know, when we had an opportunity to host youth exchange students, I made sure that everybody in the club was involved in activities, not just a certain group. Everybody in the club got involved with hosting the young people. You know, if sometimes we had parties, sometimes we took them on outings, and I made sure that every single member had an opportunity to be a part of that, to experience the internationality of hosting a youth exchange. When we had the international matching grant project that worked in Poland, I asked every club to do something, to do some fundraising, and I asked them to be creative so that they could really wrap their hands around it. So it wasn't simply get out your checkbook and write an amount of money. I wanted them to think about engaging the community and thinking about engaging each other. So I had incredibly creative ideas. Poland is in Eastern Europe. So one of the clubs had a polka dance. Another club sold pierogies, which are Polish dumplings filled with meat and potatoes. Every culture has that. Another club did a softball tournament. They all did something to wrap their arms around this international project. And as a result, there was pride in the district. There was pride that every club was able to say, I helped support that. So really, it's incumbent upon us to help create the environment and to help create the education process and to help make sure that Rotarians understand what these projects mean and then to get them involved in it. Because when Rotarians are sitting on the side, not engaged, that's when they lose interest. And that's when they will not understand how international we are. And that may be the group that, maybe only continues to do things locally. So it's our job to help pull them and make sure that they become part of our process.
We have one more question from President Santosh. Santosh ji, please.
Hi, Stephanie ma'am. First of all, congratulations to you for RIPN. Ma'am, I was going through your all the sessions and it was really impressive. But the thing which appealed me most as a president of my club, that the involvement of the Rotarians, because besides the president and some people who are engaged at a district level, most of the Rotarians don't know beyond the club about the Rotary internationality. And what you mentioned, it was really important for the Rotarians to get engaged. In the last answer, you mentioned that. So I think as a president, I feel that you need to engage most of the Rotarians of the club in an international level or a district levels to know more about a Rotary. It will help to grow Rotary besides knowing the global grants and other things. But I think that is more important for me as a president, I feel, because most of the people from the clubs, they are not knowing about the internationality of the Rotary. So what do you think? Because you mentioned about that. So that.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And, Santosh, one of the things that I mentioned earlier was we have to help Rotarians learn how to get outside of their club. That's the first step. So in my second Rotary Club, I asked that question once. I said, how many of you have ever been to another club? Because that's where it starts. If they'll go to a club, then they'll go to a district event. If they go to a district event, then maybe they'll look at an international convention. So I was not happy that there were so many who had never been to another Rotary Club. So I said, okay, I'm going to organize an outing and we're going to go together. So we did carpooling and we went to the club next door in the next town, but we did not tell them we were coming. I knew it would be okay because their meal was a buffet, so I knew it would be okay. So when we walked in, there were 15 of us from the club who walked into this other club meeting, and the other club, they were startled, like, oh, what are they doing here? Did they come to take us over? It really was funny, but after a while, both groups got together, and my club members were impressed with how that club did certain things, and they asked our club members how we do things. So it was the first step in helping those Rotarians get outside of their club. Because as I mentioned before, obviously the world begins in our backyard, but it doesn't stop there. So now that they had had an opportunity to get out of the club, it made it easier for me to say to them, come on, we're going to go to a district membership seminar. And that was okay. And then after they had done some of those district events, oh, okay, there's an emerging leaders program at the zone. Who here would be eligible? Who would be interested? And then after that, okay, we're going to the international convention. Let's get a travel agent to help us put a package together so that we can all travel together. So we really need to start somewhere. And sometimes it's small steps. When they take a small step, then they can take another step and then another step. And that's how the journey begins. So thank you for your comment.
We have another hand raised by DG and Venkateshwaran from District 3050. Please.
Good evening, madam. I am District Governor nominee from Rotary International District 3020. And we met at Visakhapatnam, that Operation Imagine program and Vishak Institute.
Yes, yes.
You still remember, our batchmates are also there, like Sharad Chaudhary and Dinesh Mehta and Dr. Parminder Singh. They are attending this program. Just to say hello to you because you are my international president during my year. I have only one doubt, just to clarify, madam. This is my only observation. Any club membership is more than 100. Even the club presidents or the past district governors from that club, they may not know the members in the same club also. So any club which is beyond more than 100 or 150, so the retention of the members is very poor. This is my only observation. So that we can keep some ceiling so that the membership for any club, if it is, it can be up to 150, so that internally you can know each other. Some clubs know more than 250, 300. Even from in India, there is 1,000 club is there. Even many other presidents, they don't know the current president and current governor also. So this is only my observation to prevent the future retention. I mean, many people are leaving the clubs now. That we can prevent if you keep the club size maximum 100 to 150. This is only my just doubt there.
Well, first, let me say how nice it is to see you again. And I look forward to seeing you in Orlando. We are going to have a fabulous experience. In terms of club size, yes, I agree with you. 100 is a big number. But, you know, the biggest Rotary Club that I'm aware of is here in the United States in Seattle, Washington. It has over 1,000 members. Now you might ask, how does a club that big operate and how do you get to know anybody? Well, think about your own structure as a district governor. You have something called assistant governors for a reason, because they work with you to coordinate the activities of a group of your clubs. So for a club of 100 members, I would advocate the same thing, that the club president get a group of, call them whatever you want, membership experts, club greeters, something, and that they have a certain segment of the club that they work with. And that you do things during the course of the Rotary year to allow members, I don't know how many of your clubs have a member spotlight. I've seen this in some big clubs where one member goes to the podium and for 2 to 3 minutes talks about their background. Because you might see in a club of 100, you might see that person week after week after week, but never know who they are because the club is so big. So big clubs sometimes will invite them to the podium to say, hi, I'm Rotarian so-and-so, this is my background, this is what I do. These are my hobbies, which you wouldn't see on an application. And so that is another way they get to know them. So I think what I said earlier applies to a situation like that. We just need to be creative in how we get to reach those members and how they get to reach us. You know, in Rotary right now, there's very much talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, but I always add one more. I add the word belonging. Our members have to feel like they belong in that particular club. If they don't, they're going to take off. Members are all looking for something from the Rotary experience. maybe it's fellowship, maybe it's service, maybe it's mentoring, maybe it's networking, whatever it is. We have to know about our members so that we're able from time to time to put something in place that will give them what they're looking for. It's not unlike your business. If you're a business person, you have a product or a service. And if your customer doesn't like your product or service or doesn't get what they want from your product or service, what do? They take off. They take off. And that's what Rotary members do. They take off. Sometimes they go to a different Rotary club, but sometimes they don't, and we lose them. So we really have to get better about finding out who our members are, even if it's in a big club. Be creative to find out, how that may operate. There's a club here in the United States that inducted teachers into the club, but the teachers could not come to a noontime meeting. So they have a subset of the club that meets after hours. They're the same club, but this other group can't come at noon. So some of the lunchtime members alternate and they go to that after hours meeting. And that's how they're getting to know these 8 teachers who cannot come to the noon meeting. So we just have to be creative in Rotary. There, one of the stories I always tell is that people do Rotary differently. When I was a young woman, I used to go disco dancing. And I used to have shoes that were, 20 centimeters high. They were huge. And my father would grab me and say, "Where are you going with those shoes? You're going to kill yourself." And I would say, "Dad, don't worry. We all know how to walk in them and we all know how to dance in them because that's how we do it." And I tell that story because I know the people who are lined up, younger Rotarians, Rotaractors, young professionals, they're going to do Rotary differently than me, and that's okay. As long as our core values, fellowship, leadership, diversity, integrity, and service, as long as our 4-way test, as long as our object of Rotary stay consistent, I don't care how they do it. If they want to use more technology, different things, different ways to meet, I'm okay, because they're going to create lasting change around the globe, in our communities and in them, and that's okay. So I got on the soapbox there. I'm sorry I went crazy, but it's so important for us to just understand how important it is for us to be leaders, but to have an open mind. So for a big club, just be creative. Thank you. Thank you again. See you in Orlando.
I would like to welcome our own DG and Dinesh Mehta-ji. Welcome. Now we have a question from DG and Parminder Singh Grover from 3070. Parminder ji, please.
We can't hear. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Yes, sir, you are unmuted. Your voice is not audible. Dr. Parminder Grover. So seems to be some connection issue at your end.
Hello.
Yeah, now
Yes.
we can hear.
Oh, there you are. There you are.
It's okay. Okay. So first of all, really, I am thankful to RIPN Stephanie for joining this meeting, and congratulations to the organizers. I have listened to each and every point, and definitely the retention is very important, because many Rotarians, they leave us at the end of the year, and to make them interesting, fellowship is the backbone of Rotary. So these action groups and musical fellowship groups, they will be very useful in future. We are having this fellowship cricket league in our district, and but still we are lacking knowledge how to join it in our district. I would definitely like to promote in my year that almost all the Rotarians must join these international groups, so that they may feel important and they may feel involved, and they should not think of leaving the Rotary once they come in.
Yes, Dr. Grover, please, share that message widely so that Rotarians, can get connected. It's just an excellent way for them to feel engaged. And the more engagement we have, the less attrition we're going to have. I always talk about our club experiences becoming simply irresistible. What does that mean? Well, it means all the things that we've talked about today. It means, feeling like you belong. It means feeling that you have a home. It feels, are you being welcomed? Are you engaged in the activities of the club and the grants and everything going on? So everything we can do to help members feel a sense of belonging is going to help with our retention. So thank you for sharing that. And yes, absolutely do that. And I'll see you in Orlando too.
Just promote it, how to get involved in these leagues. But most of the people don't know it.
That's right. And again, everything starts with education. So we have to educate them about how to do that. That's our job as Rotary leaders.
We must get some video or something like that, what we can propagate through our pets and sets and assembly, so that everybody should know how to get involved in these international activities of the Rotary.
Okay.
So, sir, we'll take it up. Last 3 questions, I'll be taking it. Madam, just one thing I think we have, we can also highlight on the inter-country committees, because it's a good source of internationality and connectivity, which we are doing. I am involved with the ICC thing in India. And I've been seeing it. I've involved it around 36 countries over here. Dr. Sam is there. He was working with me on the USA-India ICC. So that can also be a good source of connectivity for Rotarians.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vijay. Yes, my list was not exhaustive. It was just what I was putting together in the PowerPoint. So you're absolutely right. There's so much in Rotary. So thank you for bringing that forward.
President Shankar Bhagat, please.
Hi, RIPN Stephanie. I am audible?
Yeah, you are very much.
Yeah. Yes.
I am president for newly chartered club, that is Thane Rotary Club of Thane, Ghodbunder Road. It is chartered 7 months back, and we have 25 members, and all are new to Rotary. All are first time joining Rotary. So,
great.
What will be your advice for new Rotary clubs like us?
To get involved early, to find one of the things that I mentioned today, and to share it widely with your members, to look at partnering with another club to get access to global grants, to encourage your members to go to other clubs, to see how other clubs do things, all of the above, all of the above. I always say that an active club is an attractive club. And it's also a club that will have a future. So the more activity you can have, the better. Look at your community. Where are the greatest needs in your community? Is it with young people? Is it with the elderly? Who in your community would benefit most by your 25 members looking at the community and deciding on how to help? So just get active early. And I think that's the best way to keep a club engaged and to keep them moving forward and to help them grow.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Param Saini ji, please unmute and speak.
Oh, thank you. I'm so sorry, my video is not working. Stephanie, I'm so impressed by your session, and this Q&A session is particularly very informative. You talked about global grant, and you were also talking about cervical cancer. I just want to let you know that, you encouraged me to share my own, what I'm doing right now. I am from District 3070, DGN and Dr. Parminder Grover's district, and we are all women club. And working on a global grant project on cancer, actually. And the purpose of this project is to provide healthcare facilities to women living in villages, particularly because to help them prevent breast cancer and cervical cancer, that still remains the #1 and #2 leading cause of death among women in India and probably all over the world too. What I find is particularly that due to lack of cancer awareness and lack of proper screening facilities in India, most women report cancer at a very advanced stage when it's, the prognosis is not very good at that time. So what we are doing is we are trying to open up a women care clinic, and we're working with the hospital. So we will be providing screening, mammograms, and to have pap smear and HPV screening for an early detection and prevention. So I just want to share it with you that we are working on that, and we will be, and I love Rotary Foundation, and this is my 3rd global grant that I will be working on.
Thank you so much. That you're saving lives, and that's what we do. All of us in Rotary have that DNA that we want to make the world a better place, and saving lives is at the top of that list. So thank you so much.
The last question by OGM S3. Kindly ask your question. Yeah, you are unmuted, OGM, please.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. I want to first of all, thank the organizers of this meeting for giving Rotarians around the world to have the opportunity to listen to our RI President nominee. Our presentation has actually been very, very inspiring for me, and I think not just for me, for every Rotarian who has been on this call. I think this is the kind of message, the kind of topic presentation we need to start having in Rotary so that new members will inducted need to know the internationality of Rotary. I think our past RI president, Shakameta, did a lot of spotlight on membership. And I know that our Stephanie is going to take up on that role to actually see how she can engage more Rotarians internationally, to talk about how Rotary is truly an international organization. If we begin to have this message preached in our district, in our clubs, district, I think the issue of membership is going to be something that I think we are going to be massively, we're going to get a massive number of new members joining Rotary. I think a lot of Rotarians felt they shy away from actually talking about our Rotary can actually tap from international friendship, exchange, and connections. When people, just like she said before, when people know they're going to have a reason to join an organization, and when they have that reasons of joining that organization, I think they will want to join, and they also want to stay for as long as they have a reason for joining the organization. So I think, it's actually a very great presentation. If we begin to have this message preached in our club to our friends, people who have reasons to join Rotary. A lot of people actually don't have so many reasons to join Rotary. They just feel Rotary is just around their district, their club, and probably their locality where they find themselves. But if we continue to have such messages, I think the issue of membership will no longer be a problem. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for your election and all of that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll just finish my comments with one observation. It may be true for some of you, maybe all of you, but I hope all of our club members can say this. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't have at least one email in my inbox or WhatsApp message or private message from a person from another country. And I hope that every one of our Rotarians can say the same thing. If they can't, then again, that's an opportunity for us as Rotary leaders to help make some connections. I have Rotary pen pals all over the world. You know, on my birthday, and I open up my Facebook page, it's flooded with messages from all over the world. Every single Rotarian should have that feeling. Every single Rotarian should have every day a message from somebody in another country, because we're an international organization, and that helps to spread the message that we work together to promote world understanding and peace. Thank you, Vijay, for inviting me to be with you this evening. I have really appreciated all the comments. It's been wonderful to see you. Even if you all are in little screens, we are connected, and this has been a wonderful example of how international we are. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for taking time out and answering all the questions. Before the vote of thanks, if you permit me, I would like to request our DG and Dinesh Mehta to say a few words. Dinesh ji, please.
Good evening, everyone. And thanks for the wonderful presentation. And I want to thanks to the Stephanie. And then when I got the cardiac arrest at Visakhapatnam, and you visited the hospital, so nice of you. And I indebted for this. And I thanks to Sharad also. And I am fit and fine now, ma'am, with your blessings and all. Thank you very much for visiting my district. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dinesh ji. Now I hand it back to the President. President Sandeep, please, all yours.
Yeah, thank you, Vijay ji, and thank you, President RIPN Stephanie, for your enlightening speech on guiding audience today on the internationality of Rotary. Now I would like to make announcement as far as our club is concerned, that we have a club assembly meet on the next Friday.
Sandeep, we need to do the vote of thanks.
Yeah, okay, all right. First you'll do that. Okay, then I'll request Club President Sandeep Khurana of Rotary Club of Navi Mumbai Samaritans to kindly give vote of thanks.
Thank you, President Sandeep, for the opportunity given to me. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings of the day. On the very outset, let me take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to RIPN Stephanie for this wonderful experience today evening in our part of the country, right? Your talk, RIPN Stephanie, provided deep and rich insights into the ocean that Rotary is, thus making navigation easier, convenient, and friendly. Opportunities in Rotary could not have been explained in a more crisp and simpler manner, as has been done by you. I'm sure for Rotarians who are new and not so old, for them, this has just been the tip of an iceberg, waiting to melt and gel with the passion that they carry in their hearts to create an impact in the communities that they intend to serve. Thanks once again for being with us this evening. Our heartfelt gratitude to Rotarian friends from around the world for sparing a few minutes out of their schedules through different time zones. Your presence here, friends, helps us to organize such wonderful talks with the Rotary leaders. Thanks for being here. Thanks to our co-presidents from District 3142 for hosting this wonderful talk. And last but not the least, our District Treasurer, Rotarian Vijay Kival Raman, for facilitating and shaping such wonderful talks. Thank you very much. Thanks all.
Thank you, President Khurana, Sandeep Khurana. Now I'd like to request Club President Reet Kumar of Rotary Club of Thane Imperials.
Reet is not there. President Santosh will present that.
President Santosh will present the online certificate to our today's guest speaker, President Santosh.
Yeah, once again, greetings of the day to all present here and RIPN Stephanie Urchick. Certificate of appreciation. This is to present to RIPN Stephanie Urchick for enlightening us on topic Internationality of Rotary on Friday, May 5th, 2023 from Sandeep Dhotre, President Rotary Club of Thane Titans, Sandeep Khurana, President Rotary Club of Navi Mumbai Samaritans, Amit Hanagar, President Rotary Club of Navi, Mumbai, Palm Beach. Deepa Iyer, President Rotary Club of Linktown, Airoli. Vijay Joshi, President Rotary Club of Thane, Garden City. Jinesh Shah, President Rotary Club of Thane East. Santosh Shinde, myself, President Rotary Club of Thane, Green City. Reet Kumar, President Rotary Club of Thane Imperial. Thank you very much. Here we present certificate of appreciations to lovely lady RIPN Stephanie Urchick.
Thank you, President Santosh. Now, I would like to make announcements. Actually, as far as our club is concerned, we have a club assembly meeting on the next Friday at our regular venue, that is 12th of May. That's all for our club. I would request other club presidents to make their announcements, if any.
Friends, this is Sandeep Khurana, Rotary Club of Navi Samaritans. We have our official club visit of the governor on the incoming Sunday. That's the 7th of May, 7th of May evening. I request my co-presidents from District 314 to please make it convenient, along with the office bearers from the district as well, to please attend the club visit of the governor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sandeep, I think you can adjourn the meeting.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's meeting. So now I would like to adjourn the meeting and we can continue with the fellowship.